So I'm going to be ranking all of the Call of Duty Treyarch Zombies maps from World at War to Black Ops 3, and I'm not going to count the 4th installment because it was pretty trash. I mean, you'd have to get Yodi Slayer, rest in peace, that guy who camps, and the Syndicate Project to hit me up and be like, yo, you want to play some Black Ops 4 Zombies? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? And as you can see, I've made some pretty awesome names for the tiers I will be placing these maps in, the best of them being borderline orgasmic, maps that are so deliciously excellent that their flaws only add to the beauty of the whole experience, and the worst being Treyarch placing a hit on my life, which is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you guys get it. And also, when I'm ranking these maps, I'm strictly talking about the original versions, so no remakes, and Transit counts as one map. No bus depot, farm, or town in this ranking at all. So, starting with the first one, literally, the originator, the bare bones, Noctur and Toten. Now, being the first of its kind, it had nothing to work off of other than the hard landing campaign mission for World at War, so I'm going to cut it some slack. And it didn't exactly age well, but again, being a very nostalgic experience, even going back and playing it now, I would consider it middle of the road, you know? It's fine. I have nothing against Noctur and Toten. And Verrückt falls into the same category for me. The perk machines made their first appearance here, as well as the teddy bear from the mystery box and sprinting zombies. Although I feel Verrückt aged a little bit better than its predecessor, it wasn't by much. But even still, the atmosphere is amazing, whether it's because of the lovely blood drawings on the wall, or hearing the gorgeous acoustics being echoed by the ex-asylum attendees. It really makes you feel crazy and isolated. And also, I felt like I should add, Verrückt is, even to this day, the only map that splits up 4 players if you are playing with 4 people. 2 players on one side, and the other 2 on the other side, and you have to fight to get to the power to link up, which I really love that touch. I feel as though Shinonuma was a little higher up on the totem pole, and to that I say, you are onto something. These gloomy marshlands are split up into 4 separate areas with randomized perks that are all connected to one main building, so points for the creative layout. Other than a new trap in the Flogger, everyone's favorite dogs from hell came into the fray as boss zombies, along with the Wunderwaffe DG2, being the first of the big wonder weapons and adding another wonder weapon besides the ray gun. Now, those were just the first 3 maps. I started with just then I moved up 1 level to you're onto something, but this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the gloves are coming off and your trousers and panties will become wet with excitement, because we are at Derice, and yeah, this map is fucking perfection, truly. Excuse my bias, but I feel like Derice did so many things right. The map layout was small, just like Verrückt and Noctur and Toten. It made you feel claustrophobic, it was chaotic. Introducing Pack-a-Punch was a godly move, and activating it was simple and straightforward, and you didn't need too much teamwork for it at all. You can do it all by yourself, even with 4 players. The Bowie Knife and Monkey Bombs give you another way to fight back the hordes, and iconic spots such as the catwalk still prove to be endless zombie slaying fun for the whole family. Kino der Toten is a fan favorite for many and still holds up so well today. It started off Black Ops Zombies in spectacular fashion and picked up right where Derice left off. A new enemy type in the Nova Crawlers were first seen here, and the Thunder Gun reigned supreme. Nothing too crazy in its design, but certainly no slouch either. YouTube was also in quite a golden age during this time, which probably contributed to Kino's popularity a decade later. 5 is cool. I'd probably place it in You're Onto Something or Now We're Talking. I'll probably place it in You're Onto Something just for now. I feel like that's a fair placement. The concept of President JFK fighting off zombies at the Pentagon just sounds amazing. Speaking of the Pentagon, its thief is quite the unique boss zombie that drops a new power-up in the bonfire sale if you didn't let him take one of your guns. The Winter's Howl was weak later on, but still fun to use. Ascension is kind of in the same boat as 5, but I personally enjoyed it a little bit more. The Cosmonaut Monkeys were a sharp and shooting pain in the ass to fight, stealing your perks, but the introduction of PhD Flopper was so good that I'll allow it. The map was larger in size, and in combination with the Thundergun and Gersh devices made it one of the more easier maps, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a blast to play. Okay, Call of the Dead, or should I say Call of the Too Big, Call of the Too Boring, and or Too Much Fog. Certified grade A dookie, maybe textbook definition of on a sunny day. Even though I enjoy the Scavenger, I don't mind George Romero too much, and I actually like how the lighthouse determines where Pack-a-Punch is located. This map is just not my cup of tea. Shangri-La, on the other hand, really fills the requirements for my zombie killing lust. Zombies in a jungle, enough said, with a variety of boss zombies like the Shrieker, Napalm zombies, and monkeys that change power-ups. So many twists and turns making it chaotic with not many open spaces to train. And the baby gun is the best wonder weapon of all time. Excuse me. Then we have Moon, the last map of the first Black Ops game. And I think it's also just as good as Shangri-La. Zombies in space are cooler than ones in the jungle, in my opinion. And I like how the gravity in certain areas mixes things up a bit. Creepy, mysterious, exactly what I'd imagine it to be. Blowing up the Earth at the end of the Easter egg was quite the ass-clenching cliffhanger as well. Moving on to Black Ops 2, and we have 3 assassination attempts off rip. Starting with the one with the bus. Yeah. You all saw that coming. Transit is not worth the cum stains on my hardwood floor. You would think I'd favor this map considering a young 12-year-old Squidplop made his zombie-slaying debut here, even though I went down about 74 times in the span of one game. However, as dumb as I was as a kid, even I knew this map was a spit in the face to every map that came before it. Generic locations, even though I'm in agreement that town is amazing by itself, having to rely on the bus to get from point A to point B, and I'd have more fun catching COVID-19 than I would trying to build Pack-a-Punch. The jet gun is also the worst wonder weapon ever. I'm stamping it now without a doubt. Then there's Nuketown, which I always thought was a cool idea, like, oh, Nuketown is fun in multiplayer, so it should be just as fun in zombies. And that sounds logical. On paper, but in reality it's not enjoyable. Way too small for zombies like Noctur and Toten, but unlike Noct, you'd expect better, more creative material by this point in the series. The perks spawn in random spots around the map, and they get defecated from the heavens at complete random, which is frustrating and unnecessary. At least there's the opinion floating around out there that Alpha Omega is worse, so I guess Nuketown gets points for that. And finally, the last of the maps that looked like the last shit I took, Die Rise. Or as I'd like to call it, the elevator and building hopping simulator. Haven't had the urge to load up that map again. Like, who still says, hey, let's play some Die Rise, I want to drink some Who's Who? Now, if you ask me, this is where the maps get as good as the coquito mixed with some light cream and a splash of milk. Mob of the Dead is badass. Great weapons. The Blundergat being able to upgrade 2 different ways. Finding the parts to build the plane to get to Pack-a-Punch makes me feel like I'm in the prison myself. Brutus is dope and the zombies are at their most gruesome looking. They definitely did Alcatraz justice here, 100%. Wow, speaking of that, I didn't even put it in here. That's awkward. Yeah, borderline orgasmic. Buried is another solid map that, like Mob of the Dead, makes you feel like you're with the Victus crew. In this case, you're in the middle of the Wild West in some underground town. Getting to Pack-a-Punch is long-winded, but Vulture Raid and the bank system make up for it. And to no one's surprise, Origins is the best. Need I say more? I don't think I have to. Treyarch ended Black Ops 2 on a strong note, and they started its sequel on an even better one. Shadows of Evil is unlike any other, truly a beautiful and elegant display of zombies that makes me feel like a kid on Christmas. Fun weapons, the Apothecant Servant being the most destructive, and now with the added Pack-a-Punch effects, any weapon of your choice is extra explosive. Great world, atmosphere, and side quests, and the boss zombies are the icing on this Morgue City-style cake. Der Eisendrache, again, was impressive and still fun to play damn near 6 years later. Bringing back the elemental weapons and Panzer Soldats from Origins, and adding great new traps like the Death Ray, this abandoned snow-covered castle welcomes all zombie killers and freak bags with open arms. The Ragnarok DG2 makes me want to do some gravity slams in the middle of my kitchen at 2 a.m. Zetsubo no Shima gets too much of a bad rep in my opinion. While it's obviously not the best map out of the Black Ops 3 ones, or one of the best ever, it's pretty decent. It just takes so long to get started, approximately a few years older than my grandmother. This is especially true if you're not using gobblegums, but I like Zetsubo quite a bit for its atmosphere. And the KT-4 is fun to use when you can actually get your hands on it. Garad Krovi is great, and Revelations is fun at first, but got old quick. And just for shits and giggles, I'm going to rank the ones that I haven't played. I'm just going to go off of what I heard on the internet, because that's obviously a smart choice. Indigestion. Okay, Blood of the Dead is trash. Classified was eh. Void of Despair was dookie. 9 was good. Dead of the Night was trash. Ancient Evil was great. Alpha Omega was bad. And Tagger Toten was okay. And that's it. While it's obviously not the best map out... Oh my fucking god. Why... I can't fucking read.